Yo. Yeah, I got it. I got everything. I got it. I got it all. All the Zoom prompts, Matt.
Zoom.
I have to understand that I'm streaming. Matt, I'm in full ski regalia as Mount Bachelor, or as we call it, the local ice marble, has gotten 12 inches of fresh pow. Dude, how about the Central Oregon powder when it's awesome? Like you can use a leaf blower to clear your driveway.
Totally. I mean, it's, in town we got maybe an inch. It looks like 4, but it's an inch.
I froze my feet off sweeping my way out to the hot tub this morning, Matt. Froze my feet.
You're whistling while you work?
Yeah, the first week that I lived here, when I walked to the office, I was running downtown. They had the street sweeper out, cleaning the inch of snow with the street sweepers.
Yeah.
Now, how about this though? Today, out of nowhere, our street gets plowed. Right? Is that the craziest thing ever? Somebody from the city must have moved down.
Maybe the new city manager lives on that street, right?
Matt, that is a theme that is continual throughout humanity, is people only look after their own best interests.
Their tribe.
Exactly.
We're back to the tribes.
We are back to the tribe, Matt, and one of the biggest tribes out there. Well, before we go there, let me share, if I could. Let me share this.
Welcome back from the sunny confines of Florida, by the way.
Hey, thank you. How are you? Are we seeing the New York Post article?
Yeah, we are now.
Oh, beautiful. Juwan Howard, look at that right open hand slap. I mean, he got him.
That's a bitch slap. He
slapped the Wisconsin coach, who started the altercation, by the way, by jabbing his chest, getting in his blocking. It's supposed to be a handshake line. You handshake and pass. You don't jump into the other guy's finger in the chest. Anyway, Matt, let's talk a little bit about sportsmanship.
Well,
because
as a Michigan grad, it pains me to, when that happened, I was like, okay, the season's over, number one. We were, and I thought, and this team was coming together, like it really was coming together. So from a selfish sports fan standpoint, it breaks my heart because we're not going to the dance now. Although in 1989, kind of at the same time, when Bill Frieder announced, I'm leaving for Arizona State to point shave, which, by the way, is what happened after that.
Yes.
Michigan won it all in 1989 with Remedial Robinson at the line against Seton Hall when he was a 35% shooter and made the 2 at the buzzer to win the game by 1. Who knows? He's all right. So here's what's, Juwan's benched for the season. He can't go near the facilities. He can't watch practice. He can't be near practice. He basically gave up his key card to get into any facilities. He was fined $40,000, big deal. But the good news is 2 other players, I think, Terrence Williams and their new the 14 Diabate missing a game. Next 4 games are at home. It's going to be Michigan's 14-10 now. It's going to be tough to make the tournament, even if they win. And that game didn't hurt them necessarily. But I think this, I was reading an article about the players, getting on the plane on the way home and how it was kind of a funeral, right? Everybody finally realized what had happened. So it's the damage that comes from the repercussions of something like this post, right? That is really going to affect the program. How they bounce back will be interesting. Now, our associate head coach is the former St. Joe's head coach for 25 years. So we have a head coach. I'm not worried about that. We have a guy that can jump into the game, who sits next to Juwan, who has been there, by the way, to groom Juwan to not do these types of things. And as you said before we came on, Bob, this is the second strike against Juwan Howard. He almost, went to fisticuffs with the former Maryland coach a year ago or a year and a half ago. So, this is serious stuff because as the leader.
Can I just point out something that might not be obvious?
Yep.
Is that they said the whole altercation started because they were clearly going to win the game. Yet they called a timeout. They extended the game.
Yep.
He was trying to say that it was poor sportsmanship from the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And my thought was, where's your responsibility as a sportsman to come better prepared?
Totally.
Like, you should take the slap to the face, not the Wisconsin, that's figurative. You should take the timeout. You should get steamed that they are humiliating you with that because you didn't show up for the game.
Yep.
Like, poor sportsmanship. How about your responsibility to be a better prepared for the game? I don't know. That's nuance, man.
Yeah, and again, for me, the fact that he didn't say he was sorry in the press conference, he was just, again, it was kind of the blame game. You and I don't like that stuff. Like you said, accept responsibility in the loss, right? And
absolutely.
That's important also in trading. Like if you start blaming the Fed and the longs and the shorts and the algos, you're not going to make it in this business, right? So there's a lesson for all to be learned from that, which is buck up, be a man, accept your loss, accept your responsibility in that loss, and get better.
Amen to that. Amen. My friend Ben, a wheat trader, great hoop player, by the way. Nice segue from the hoop court. Ran with them a ton in Chicago. But he shared this one from Beverly. And it was yikes, 670,000 square foot Nordstrom building on the beautiful Mag Mile in Chicago, valued at $515 million in 2008. This REIT just sold their 50% stake for $21 million, giving the value of $42 million of a high of, what is that off, Matt? $515 million to $42 million. It's
90, let's call it 92%. It's close enough for my math. 92%. Loss.
And I bring this up, Matt, mostly because we've been talking about right sides of stock valuations for about a year now.
Yeah.
And this is the real world. This is what can happen to valuations when they come back down to earth. And
things aren't linear and this way all the time, right? They're not.
I don't know. I just thought it was a great thing to keep in mind, especially in the world that we live in.
Well, and what I'm going to bring up here is I'm going to bring up the Dow Jones REIT index with that in mind, because I believe it's topped. And I've been telling my real estate friends, especially on the retail side, on the local housing side, yeah, prices are going up. Guess what? Prices go up until they stop. And then when they stop, it's because there's no buyers, there's no bids left. And then your offers start going like this. They start stepping down, right? And then they step down hard because there's still no offers. And then, the interest rates have already doubled in the last, as we know, in the last, 3 months. Your 10 years gone from, 0.3 at the bottom of COVID to 2 now, which means, 30-year rates are basically around 4 plus or minus. And this REIT chart, I think, is really depicting what we're going to see, which is the right side of the real estate bubble. And all these bubbles were blown, by the way, by the Fed and by the fact that we printed another and we pushed another $6 trillion into the hands probably of people that didn't really need it in most cases. Like there was, it was almost like this bull rush to hand out money that was going to be misused. And frankly, it was misused. And it's just starting to unwind. I mean, think about this. This is where, we were trading right here, Bob, at 23.65 before COVID. And we got cut in half in a matter of a month, right? Which, again, if you don't think this can happen again with what's going on in the world, you're crazy. So we went from 1,300, 1,330 all the way up here to 3,000 practically in this index. And when this level goes here at around 2,500, we're at 2,597 was the closing last week. This is only going to dive lower. You can't stop what's coming. So I'm just trying to point out there's still, you've only lost 20% right here from the top. Now is still a good time to exit these REITs because, as you said, it doesn't matter. Even though retail in Chicago is bad, apartment housing is strong, but it will all be bad over time. It will all roll over time. So just keep that in mind.
Absolutely, Matt. People I just keep seeing thread after thread about how, it's the warmongering that is going to cause the market is already rolling over.
It had been, right.
It has been. We've been talking about it.
And the Ukraine war is really a civil war, if you will. I mean, it's the Russians in the eastern part of Ukraine that don't want to be Ukrainian anyways. So this is an 8-year war. Shells have been bombed. You know, there's been shell. It's so fun. This is, again, Western press. They have been shelling each other for 8 years, and you don't hear it on NBC News. So now they're talking about the shelling. It's not new to those people. They have been bombing each other, not in a big way, but they've been killing each other and bombing each other for reasons that have nothing to do with the U.S. They have nothing to do with the U.S.
Hey, Matt, so let's get back to price discovery. The Russian stock market for sure took it on the chin on this.
Yeah, it was down, yesterday they had yesterday the market was, we were closed, but the Russian market was down about 10%, Bob. And just give me a moment, I'll bring up that chart for you. But yeah, it's bloody. But again, Russia can't, they don't have, the one thing the US could, say we could survive without, outside countries pretty much. Like we could pretty much do everything.
You know what I saw a great don't bet against that thought process. They're talking about the Ukrainian or the Russian GDP and it's the size of Texas and it doesn't really matter globally,
right?
Except it's almost all energy related.
Except
so again, if we double energy prices worldwide, that's not going to be great for anybody.
Well, it's not good for Europe for sure.
All right, so here's the Russian.
This is the RSX, which is the VanEck Russian ETF. Peaked here in October 33.34. Today pushed all the way through down here to 1950. Looks like that was the low. We're trading 2026 down another 12% today. But again, interesting that it had rallied back to the point of control into the end of last week, only to get hit again by further financial restrictions on the Russian flow, if you will. So, but again, this was as low, Bob, as $13 at the bottom of COVID. So, now at 20, is it value? I wouldn't be buying it today. It's a runaway to the downside, but it would take some time for me to get interested. But it's not a bad area, here at 19 versus 33. So if you want to get involved in Russian stocks and energy stocks, which, as you said, probably make up, I don't know the makeup of this ETF. I don't know exactly what's in it, but to your point, I'm sure a lot of it is energy, and it's probably not a bad buy if you're looking for diversity in the portfolio.
All right, Matt.
Buy them when they hate them.
Exactly, Matt. One last thing on the Russian-Ukraine conflict and price discovery. For sure, oil. Let's talk oil just really quickly, and then gold and silver. As if there was going to be a full-fledged thermonuclear war, you would think that those charts would be exploding.
Well, so oil was, has been going up as we've noted here many times.
And again, it's been going up not because of this particular crisis in particular.
Correct.
It's been going up because the world can't pump enough oil.
Well, it's been going up because of inflationary measures, et cetera. And today it is up again. It's up to 60. But the interesting thing, it was actually down most of the day until the last little bit. We started rallying again. Most of that was, again, this is kind of a weird day. Tuesdays after long weekends and a long weekend where we made a new low in the NASDAQ. We made a new low. We didn't make a new low in the SPOOs, but we did make a new low in the NASDAQ. The bonds actually rocketed. I don't know if you saw that. They were up to 154 and a half-ish. By yesterday, they pulled back another $2. That 152 level, by the way, on the bonds that we keep talking about, 2 weeks in a row, we were below, and it even went to like 150 and a half, Bob. Yet last week you weren't here, and the bonds could not close below 152 2 weeks in a row. So I'm going to bring that up. The bonds are showing unusual end of week strength. How's that? End of week strength, where in the middle of the week we're down. Now, with that being said, oil currently trading 92.60, has been higher. I think, what did we get up to? Close to 95 or so. Wasn't that? Yeah, 95.08, maybe a little higher here. What was that? 95.
But it really hasn't taken out the pre-Putin statement that we're going to recognize their independence. It really hasn't taken that level out, has it?
No, it didn't get in the high. Overnight again. Here was 90, not even 95. So Yeah, this is looking, possibly left, right shoulder. I mean, if you were to get below, say, 87, so 87 needs to hold for the bulls right now, and for your 100 to finally come to fruition, that would be kind of what I'm seeing there, Bobby. And I know, and I think we'll still see 100 regardless of what happens or doesn't happen in the Eastern European region right now. As far as gold, again, all the gold bugs are, Peter Schiff, yada yada, everybody's, they're all trying to bang against Bitcoin as it goes lower because now gold is rallying. Well, is it really? I mean, is it really? And
by the way, we talked about this on the way in. You can't have more explosive news headlines every day.
Well, I just keep talking about this. Like this is we're going back to the middle of, this is July or August of 20 when we peaked in gold. Okay, so 2 years later, here we are. Gold is not making you money. So I'm tired of the gold bugs like banging, they're like the monkey, that little toy monkey, Bob, that is like with the symbols, ding, 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 always. And they're never right. They're just always, they're always long. It's like listening to realtors. They're always long real estate. They're never telling you to sell.
Never, ever, ever.
Ever. So yeah, we haven't even taken out 1960s, which, was the secondary low. Obviously 2100 is the all-time low, all-time high, highs. And we're out of value. This is a daily chart, so we're extended. It's bullish for sure, but I'm not that excited about it. I don't think it's going to hold. I just don't think it's going to. We're not going. Again, the dollar is still the world's reserve currency. That's not going to change this year. It's not going to change.
Or next.
Well, this is my point. So if you're a shorter term trader, you should not be putting all your money into this trade because I don't see it happening. Now, if it's a hedge for you against the world coming to an end, go for it. But nobody benefits.
I got better hedges for the world ending, man.
Right, but I'm just saying
it's called whiskey and weed.
Yeah, the end of the world trade does not work for anybody anyway. So what are you going to do with your gold? Good luck.
Yeah, exactly. Can't snort it. I'll tell you that right now. I'm going to share again because
Fleetwood Mac and Gold Dust Woman think differently, but.
Speaking of Fleetwood Mac, how about the music back on Spotify of that rebel rouser, right?
Neil Young is back.
Neil Young. I couldn't think of his name.
But how come the press did not pick up that story that he's back?
Oh, no. Yeah, let's talk Canada just for a little bit because I want to morph it into and this a comment from the opinion piece from the National Post, I believe, is in Canada. And from Rupa Subramanya, I think I got that right. Chrystia Friedland's side gig with the World Economic Forum is endangering Canadian democracy. And we talked about this on the way in, Matt. By November, COVID is going to be so far in the rearview mirror. Nobody in particular, I don't think, is going to pace their votes on that entirely. What I hope and pray that happens, though, is if you follow the paper trail of how much the World Economic Forum pushed all of these agendas around COVID, maybe it becomes a proxy vote on politicians' affiliation with the World Economic Forum, and that being more important than their local economies and our civil liberties, because I think that's the whole story. And this Chrystia Friedland, she was a reporter, right? And she crucified the World Economic Forum for several years until she became a member of the World Economic Forum's steering committee. Like, she's on the dance committee and deciding what music gets to be played.
And again, she's got a sketchy family history from Eastern Europe, also very, very fascist in nature. Let's just leave it there. And you can read about it. It's, now that people are digging into her. But yeah, that's a great article that Brownstone Institute that was.
This one was particularly good too because when you look at the board of trustees, it's a who's who of the climate narrative. And I think, and I love this part of this article, though. Again, money flows from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. But again, the next question is for this election coming up, this election cycle in November, is in this democratic society that we call the USA, this republic. Is this what your elected officials? Is this what you thought they were there for to do? To look out for the World Economic Forum's agenda? Or did you elect them to look out for your local economies and your civil liberties. And that becomes the proxy vote, I think, in November. Forget
Well,
COVID.
I mean, it's so obvious. Like these bit players are being promised a role in the new world orders, but it's being promised by that list of people that is in there, and it's going to fail because it's out there in the forefront now, and people aren't going to let this stuff like roll over. To your point, politics is always local. Let's stop with this macro shit from some crazy Austrian that's been pushing this agenda for 50 years. Like, what does he have? What does he have? Like a hypnotism, skill that is just bringing these people in? I don't know, Bob. It's crazy.
I don't know what he doesn't have though, Matt, is the shrimp mojo shrimp on the flatbread.
All right, you better bring one of those over right now.
Stonefire naan bread. 10 minutes at 450 with the shrimp. Forget about it.
Oh my God, you're making me hungry.
Long. You gotta head over to Amazon.com and buy some.
By the way, I saw a tweet a couple weeks ago by our boy Jimmy Urio, and he was saying that the guy from stockmarkethats.com had sent him this new hat. It wasn't this one, but I went online and I went to stockmarkethats.com, and you can find them at Twitter, stockmarket.
Candlestick. I got
the candlestick.
I don't know what kind of bands they got going on that hat, but
but anyways, they had some pretty cool products, and you and I are going to be working on a couple of our own pissing down your back offering hats. So.
Oh, all right, Matt. I think it's incredibly important in price discovery terms, how we're already, we're getting towards the end of the month of February now, right?
Yep.
And so as
4
traders,
4 trading days after today. Yep.
We always play that if-then game, right? And it'll be interesting to see how the bands react.
We made new lows on the NASDAQ. Let me just bring up the NASDAQ because we haven't talked about it. The NASDAQ, we made new lows overnight, Bob, and we talked about it. I was talking about it all last week while you were gone. We're going to test 13.7, 13.7, 13.7, sell, 14.7, right? You got 1,000 points out of that, a little bit more. Went down to 582.
Yeah, bring it up. We don't see it.
Okay. Sorry about that. And we went down to 582 yesterday when we reopened. You and I were both getting short in the close yesterday, and that worked nicely. But you had to cover quickly, and it bounced. Get short again, and again we can't even get back. And this is basically a month-long chart that we're looking at, a 15-minute chart. So very bearish, no matter what time frame you're looking at. And again, for me, for what I see on like a 610 chart. We're just, that new low kind of to me just showed that we've got more work to do to the downside, and again, this is the profile. We've got all these levels, right? We had 15,000. We had the recent low here, which was the stop, 13.7. That was why we stopped the first time. To me, Bob, looks like we're heading to this next diving board of 12.9 or so, 12.9. And then below that, I mean, I think we're going to trade all the way down here right to, somewhere around 11.2. This is a 610 value area. We're just in this playground, if you will. And these are the levels. And again, we've talked about this for months. Like this last rally that we saw in October, I said this was mechanical. It was an algo. They wanted it up so they could sell it later. You could just feel it. And we talked about it in the show the last 2 months. Be short, because at the end of the year, these things will not see these prices again. And we talked about, for example, Shopify was one of these stocks, Bob.
Yeah. Bring up Shopify.
And Shopify, has been a darling. And even Shopify, can't be saved by Cathie Wood. I mean, it went from 1760, Bob, which, pre-revolutionary days, down here to 633 today. I mean, that's $1,100 move, Bob. And this is now, you're talking a 65% haircut. If you didn't have protections in place, it's wild. But this thing is traded down here to 630 now, and it's going to go.
It looks like
it's got another half off from 630. It's going back to $300. Right? Sorry. And the valuation here, by the way, it's off 65%. And the valuation today is $80 billion. right here. Still.
Unbelievable, Matt.
So, these valuations, although, they're
again, I mean, back to the quote that's behind me. At some point in time, the rubber meets the road and valuations actually make sense.
Yep.
And so for the Nordstrom's building on the Chicago Mag Mile, it's 92% off where it was.
Because nobody's shopping on
Seems
the
like a buy.
Mile.
Seems like a buy at 42 million versus 500 and whatever it was.
Maybe if they turn it into homeless shelters.
Hey, Matt, by the way, spent some time in Florida, and going from the left coast, coast to coast, spent some time downtown St. Petersburg, Florida.
From the left coast of America to the left coast of Florida.
Yes. And what a difference the left coast of Florida is. I did not see 1/10 pitched in the street like I did in Seattle on the layover.
But
and
maybe
zombies walking around. It was unbelievable. The 2 hours in downtown Seattle versus the 2 hours in downtown St. Petersburg. Different planets, Matt, actually different planets. It can't be the same planet. No chance. Spent some time downtown Tampa also. Again, no zombie land available for your procurement of sidewalk space in either of those locales. I don't know if it means that policy actually matters or not, but I'm leaning towards the fact that policy actually matters.
Yeah.
Just my 2 cents.
Well, and I think really what it comes down to is you have a situation on the West Coast where they're, like you said, the policy is willing. I mean, we live in a city where I'm like, where do these people come from? Like, they just show up and there's more and more homeless every day in this little area where we live in the middle of the desert in this high desert mountain town. Why would a homeless person end up here? Well, it's because they're in, Santa Cruz, or they're in SLO, they're in San Francisco, and they buy them a bus ticket to another place that is willing to accept them and house them and pay for them. It's the only thing I can get.
I don't know. Policy matters though, but whatever they're doing in Tampa and in St. Pete, maybe we should start doing. Maybe they should go there on a fact-finding mission.
They should.
I don't know.
Interest rates are back down today again. We're at 153.09 on the 10-year, it got bullish. It was bearish all morning. I think that led us. I wouldn't be surprised to see a rally here at the end of the day now in the equity futures. We just got pushed down. We couldn't take out. Really get, we took out the opening range, but we didn't take out the overnight range. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a rally coming here end of the day. So I'll just throw that out there because the bonds have rallied again. So I'm kind of following that. I was saying this earlier, it's difficult to trade coming right out of a long holiday. And then with all the political, saber rattling that continues to grow. But I think people are already seeing, the lack of follow through. We already know Biden never follows through on anything. He doesn't. I mean, where is the guy? He's basically disappeared in the last 6 weeks. He's gone underground since he claimed the winter of death was coming. Like, think about it. What happened to him? Remember, he said the winter of death, and
it's gonna be.
He brought that Christmas.
Thanks for the pep talk.
He brought that Christmas message, and then he's disappeared since Christmas. Gone.
He gone. All right, Matt, currently suspended from Twitter for tweeting out the I forget what it was. It was a article in.
It was an article, talking about military VARs and causal versus, there's causal.
It was a Substack article, though, right?
Yeah. It was a Substack article.
It just blows me away that like a human person with an education can't read the article and decide for themselves. Why is everything just like if you're censoring it, all you're doing is affirming your opinion that people have no idea how to think for themselves.
Correct. I mean, it's,
that's the bottom line.
It's the authoritative way is all I can say. I mean, because I didn't write the article. There was nothing that I didn't comment about the article. I posted it, shared it with the world because I thought it was interesting. To your point, I thought more people should share it. And I think that's the whole point of social media. Like you said, let me share it with you, and you discern if it's real or crap or whatever. But I thought the information within said article was very interesting and had a lot of journalistic integrity behind it. The person who wrote it had a lot of facts. So, hey, but again, science doesn't matter when the authorities are in control. I mean, you've seen some of the videos of actual press in Ottawa that are being, out there right now, and these police are literally shutting these people down. It's crazy to me. I mean,
well, did you see the one girl, they denied her bail?
Yes.
I mean, hey, we talked about this on the way in. Like everybody, I don't know. I think a lot of people assume that Canada is the same as the USA, and it is not. I mean, you grew up in Detroit, and when you went to Windsor, the last thing you wanted to do was get arrested.
You said yes, sir, no, sir. You did not do anything. That's absolutely correct, Bob.
And their liquor laws. You got to go to a usually a province-sponsored liquor store, beer store. It's not the same, man. Canada has been authoritarian for more than just the past week. I think Trudeau is just, and again, I'll go back to somebody shared the amount of World Economic Forum proteges are in the Canadian government. It's staggering. So again, I mean, I think that needs to be the proxy vote in November. Is, do you want your elected representative to be more concerned about the World Economic Forum's agenda than your local community and your civil liberties? If you think that they got a better idea of how the world should go forward out of Davos, then vote for them. If you think that maybe the whole thing has been co-opted by their agenda, maybe you should look at somebody else. And we talked about this also, Matt, on the way in. It isn't just Democrats on this.
No, it is
not. There are
not.
plenty of Republicans that are fully in line with Klaus Schwab and his ideals of what the technocratic socialist world looks like. I say that in full confidence, in my confidence of this ski jacket also, man.
Hey, I'm gonna shout out Stock Market Hats again. Here, you can follow him or her or they or them, whatever you want to say.
Oh, beautiful.
Anyway, stockmarkethats.com. This is where you can pick up this fine acrylic number here. And I liked it. They got different colors, but yeah, they're cool hats. They're subtle. Only traders are going to understand. Like, I've already had people say, well, what is that on your hat? I love that. Just like you, what are you wearing? What are you wearing?
Dude, circa 1995 Scandinavia Ski Shop, Glenview, Illinois. Fire and ice. Just a gorgeous coat. I get complimented all the time on the slopes with it. And it's easy to find me, screaming down that blue groomer.
They're like, who was that Bengal tiger shooting down
exactly.
the hill?
Man, how about another several people killed on Mount Bachelor over the last couple of weeks?
The marble.
Maybe we should outlaw skiing because you can die doing it.
I mean, more people have died on Mount Bachelor of skiing than COVID for sure.
All right, Matt, they're hitting them again. You were wrong. Do not buy this tip.
I'm not buying it. I'm not buying
92% off. That's our tagline. 90% off. 92% off all bids get realized.
I'm not buying it. They are going lower. As I've said, we got to test.
All right, Matt, we'll be back at it again tomorrow. Please visit us at marketvitals.io. Please share and retweet once we get it up on Twitter, because Matt's in timeout.
I'm in timeout
version for
still for another week. It's weird because I can watch everything on Twitter, and I like
just can't. We're gonna see how they treat when I retweet this and put you on there.
Yeah.
Like can Trump go on somebody? Could we have Trump on a Market Vitals and stream it to Twitter next week?
Yeah.
It's my question. Or they're like, no, he's been banned. He's totally banned. He can't even join somebody else's. Like, you've banned him. Totally banned. Total banned.
Hey,
you will be banned.
By the way,
Lee's saying you will be banned.
By the way, we do have to talk about how U.S. hockey failed, even though they swept through their
hockey. Fuck the whole. There was only 2 stories coming out of the Olympics.
Okay.
2.
It's over now, by the way.
The Nordic skier whose penis froze, right?
Yep.
Because it was so cold. How about this? It was so cold, they instead of doing the 50K,
Yep.
right? They said it's too cold, we'll do a 30K. Yeah, well, his prick still froze. So maybe you should have done a 10K. I don't know. At what point does the dick freezing disallow the competition? That's one question. Number two.
Plus he's from Norway. You think he'd be used to it. It's not even cold.
He would have a cocksock on or something to protect his little helmet of interest. I don't know. And number two is if they do not have a curling event where you have to blow 0.8, right? You have to be drunk to curl. Like if that doesn't become a competition, I forget the Olympics for the rest of my life.
And honestly, after seeing just some of the pictures, I did not see any of the curling live. Why hasn't Will Ferrell done a movie on curling like he did for?
It's an impossibility for me that hasn't been done.
Right.
It's an impossibility.
He and Riley, John C. Riley should be getting drunk. Should be getting drunk and making that movie right now.
Exactly. They should basically. Well, the storyline should be they're Minnesota champions, right? But then they go to Canada and get caught in a demonstration. And
the movie.
We could write the script right now.
We just finished it. Yeah. We can finish it this
It's
afternoon.
called American Freedom, and they gotta win the Bonspiel in Ottawa to get back to the sanctuary of the USA. Beautiful.
The movie's coming out and of course the Olympics are in North Korea, right? They're in North Korea.
Of course they are. All right, Matt. You have a great day.
Thank you, Bobby. Welcome back. Good to see your smiling face, and you got some color. You're looking healthy.
Yeah, I feel good. I feel good.
All right.
See ya. Brownies on the beach.
Brownies on the beach. And psilocybin.
All of it.
All of it.
All good. See ya.